There are words, simple words, that many people speak every single day without realizing they are quietly destroying their healing. Not physically, not visibly, but deeply, spiritually, mentally, and even emotionally. And today, we're going to expose them. Because what you say, especially in moments of pain, fear, and uncertainty, can either align you with healing or keep you stuck exactly where you are. And this message is inspired by the powerful teachings of Kenneth E. Hagin, who emphasized again and again, your words matter. Your confession matters. Your faith is revealed through what you say. So let's get into it. Part 1. The dangerous words people keep repeating. There are certain phrases people say that sound harmless, but they are actually working against their healing. Let me show you a few. I guess I'll always be like this. This sickness runs in my family. I'm not getting better. Maybe this is just God's will. Nothing is working for me. These statements may feel honest, but they are not faith. They are agreement with limitation. And every time you speak them, you reinforce the very thing you're trying to escape. Part 2. The principle of confession. One of the core teachings emphasized by Kenneth E. Hagin is this. You will have what you say, not just what you believe silently, but what you consistently declare. Because your words are not just sounds. They are containers of belief. They shape your mindset. They influence your body. They determine your expectation. If you keep saying, I'm sick, your mind accepts it as identity. If you keep saying, I'm broken, your system aligns with it. But when you say, I am healing, I am recovering, I am being restored, you begin to shift everything. Part 3. Why negative words block healing. Let's break it down. 1. They create internal resistance. Healing requires alignment, mind, body, and spirit. But when your words contradict your desire, you create internal conflict. You say you want healing, but you speak sickness. You say you want peace, but you declare anxiety. That contradiction blocks progress. 2. They program your subconscious. Your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It listens. It records. It obeys. So when you repeatedly say, I'm tired all the time, your mind starts making that your reality. When you say, I never get better, your brain starts filtering reality to confirm that belief. 3. They kill expectation. Healing requires expectation. But negative words destroy expectation. And when expectation dies, faith weakens. And when faith weakens, progress slows down. Part 4. The words you must stop saying. Let's be very clear. If you want healing, you must stop saying, this will never change. I've tried everything. I'm just unlucky. Nothing works for me. This is permanent. These words are not neutral. They are agreements with defeat. And healing cannot flow through a mindset that is already surrendered. Part 5. What you should say instead. Now here's the shift. You don't ignore reality, but you don't give it authority either. Instead, you speak in alignment with what you desire. Start saying, I'm getting stronger every day. My body is responding to healing. I am moving toward restoration. This is temporary, not permanent. I believe change is happening. At first, it may feel unnatural. But consistency builds belief. And belief creates transformation. Part 6. The power of repetition. One time is not enough. You don't undo years of negative conditioning in a single moment. You must repeat truth until it becomes your default. Morning, night, in moments of doubt, in moments of fear. Speak life. Speak healing. Speak possibility. Because repetition rewires your thinking. Part 7. Faith versus feelings. Here's something crucial. You cannot base your words on how you feel. Because feelings fluctuate. One day you feel strong. Next day you feel weak. But faith is not based on feelings. Faith speaks even when nothing has changed yet. Faith declares healing before it sees evidence. And that's where transformation begins. Part 8. The silent damage of complaining. Complaining may feel like release, but it reinforces the problem. Every complaint is a declaration. This situation has power over me, and the more you repeat it, the stronger it becomes in your mind. Instead of complaining, redirect. Instead of, I feel terrible today, say, I'm improving, even if it's slow. That small shift changes everything. Part 9. Your identity matters. Stop identifying with your problem. You are not your sickness. You are not your struggle. You are not your limitation. When you say, my anxiety, my disease, my weakness, you're attaching identity to something temporary. Instead, say, this is something I'm overcoming. That separates you from the problem and gives you power again. Part 10. The daily practice. Here's a simple daily structure. Morning. Speak 5 positive declarations about your healing. During the day, catch negative thoughts and replace them immediately. Night. Affirm progress, even if small. Consistency matters more than intensity. Part 11. Why most people stay stuck. Not because they lack desire, but because they keep reinforcing the wrong beliefs. They want healing, but they speak defeat. They want change, but they declare permanence. And without realizing it, they keep themselves stuck. Part 12. The turning point. Your turning point is this. You become aware of your words. You stop speaking unconsciously. You choose your words intentionally. And slowly, day by day, you shift your inner world. And when your inner world changes, your reality begins to follow. Listen carefully, not to me, but to yourself. What have you been saying lately? Not just out loud, but internally. Because the quiet words you repeat in your mind every day are shaping the direction of your healing. Some of you are praying for change, hoping for relief, searching for peace, but unknowingly, you are speaking against the very thing you're asking for. And that contradiction is where the blockage begins. The war between desire and declaration. You say you want healing, but will you declare? Do your words match your desire? Or are they in conflict? Because here's the truth. You cannot move toward healing while consistently declaring brokenness. You cannot expect strength while constantly speaking weakness. There is a war happening, not outside you, but within you, between what you want and what you say. And whichever side you feed more will win. The subtle power of everyday language. Most people think only big words matter. But it's not the big moments. It's the daily language. The casual statements. I'm so tired of this. This is never going to end. I always feel like this. These are not dramatic declarations. They are habitual confessions. And because they are repeated so often, they become your default reality. The identity trap. Let's go deeper. There's a dangerous shift that happens over time. You move from saying, I have a problem, to saying, I am the problem. I'm anxious. I'm broken. I'm damaged. And without realizing it, you stop fighting because you believe it's who you are. But listen carefully. Your condition is not your identity. Your struggle is not your name. And the moment you separate the two, you take your power back. Words as seeds. Every word you speak is a seed. Some seeds grow healing. Some seeds grow limitation. In the soil, your mind. If you plant, I'll never change, that seed grows into belief. If you plant, I'm improving, that seed grows into expectation. And eventually, expectation becomes experience. The delay that tests you. Here's where most people fail. They start speaking positively, but nothing changes immediately. So they go back to saying, see, nothing works. And just like that, they uproot the seed they've just planted. But healing often requires consistency before visible results. You must speak truth, even in the silence, even in the delay, even when nothing looks different yet. Faith is a language. Faith is not just a feeling. It is a language. It speaks differently. While fear says, this will never work, faith says, this is working, even if I don't see it yet. While doubt says, I can't handle this, Faith says, I am growing through this. And the more you speak the language of faith, the more natural it becomes. Emotional honesty versus verbal agreement. Now let's clarify something important. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to have moments of weakness. You are allowed to acknowledge pain. But don't let your feelings become your declarations. There's a difference between saying, I feel overwhelmed right now, and saying, I am overwhelmed. One is temporary. The other is identity. Choose carefully. The habit of complaining. Complaining is easy. It feels natural. It feels justified. But it comes with a cost. Every complaint reinforces the problem. Every complaint strengthens the pattern. And over time, you become more familiar with struggle than with healing. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? That shift alone changes everything. Replacing words in real time. Transformation doesn't happen in theory. It happens in real time. When you catch yourself saying, I can't do this. Pause. Replace it with, I'm learning to do this. When you say, this is too much, replace it with, I'm becoming stronger through this. These small corrections are powerful. The environment of healing. Your words are powerful, but so is your environment. If you are surrounded by negativity, it will influence your language. So be intentional. Limit exposure to constant complaining, negative conversations, fear-driven narratives, and increase exposure to encouragement, growth-focused content, positive reinforcement. Because what you hear eventually becomes what you say. The mirror effect. Your words reflect your beliefs, but they also shape them. So if you don't like what you believe right now, start with your words, even before you fully believe it. Say, I am healing, even if your mind resists, because repetition softens resistance. Discipline over mood. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel positive. But discipline means you speak what aligns with your healing, not what aligns with your mood. Because moods change, but disciplined words create direction. The turning point moment. There comes a moment when you realize, I've been speaking against myself for years, and that realization can feel heavy, but it's also powerful. Because now, you can choose differently. Rebuilding your inner voice. Your inner voice has been trained over time, by experiences, by environment, by repetition, but it can be retrained. Start by becoming aware, then intentional, then consistent, and over time, your inner voice will shift from, I can, I'm becoming, speaking life daily. Make this your daily practice. Morning, I am stepping into healing today. Midday, I'm handling this better than before. Night, I made progress today, even if it was small. These declarations are not empty. They are direction. Stop predicting failure. Many people sabotage themselves by predicting failure. This won't work. I'll probably fail. Nothing ever changes. Stop forecasting negativity. Instead, say, this could work. This might be the turning point. I'm open to change. Because what you expect, you move toward. Patience is part of healing. Healing is not always instant. Sometimes it's gradual, and your words must support that process. Instead of saying, it's too slow, say, it's happening step by step. Because impatience leads to frustration, and frustration leads to negative speech. Your words create momentum. Every positive word adds momentum. Every negative word slows it down. So ask yourself daily, am I building momentum or breaking it? And adjust accordingly. There is a quiet force shaping your life right now. Not your circumstances, not your past, not even your pain, but your words. The things you whisper when no one is around. The things you repeat when you're tired. The things you confess when life feels heavy. Those words are either opening the door to your healing or keeping it locked. And most people, don't even realize they are holding the key. Part 1. The invisible agreement. Every time you speak, you are making an agreement, not just with yourself, but with the direction of your life. When you say, "I'll never get better," you just sign an agreement with stagnation. When you say, "This is too much for me," you've just aligned yourself with limitation. And the truth is, many people are not blocked because healing isn't available. They are blocked because their words are in agreement with the problem. Part 2. Words become reality. Let's go deeper. Your words don't just describe your life. They create the lens through which you experience it. Two people can face the same situation. One says, "This is breaking me." The other says, "This is shaping me." Same situation, different outcome. Why? Because words shape perception, and perception shapes reality. Part 3. The trap of honesty. Now, here's where many people get stuck. They say, "I'm just being honest. I'm just telling it like it is." But what if your version of honesty is actually reinforcing your pain? There is a difference between acknowledging reality and declaring defeat. You can say, "I feel pain right now," without saying, "I will always be in pain." One is awareness. The other is agreement. Part 4. The language of defeat. Let's expose the language that blocks healing. Listen carefully. These phrases may sound normal, but they are destructive. "I can't handle this." "This is too hard." "I'm always struggling." "Nothing ever works out." "Why does this always happen to me?" These are not just statements. They are patterns. And patterns create cycles. Part 5. Cycles are created by repetition. What you repeat, you reinforce. What you reinforce, you experience more of. So if every day you say, "I'm exhausted," "I'm drained," "I'm overwhelmed," your system begins to expect that state. And your life starts organizing around it. Not because it has to, but because you've trained it to. Part 6. Breaking the pattern. Healing begins the moment you interrupt the pattern. The moment you catch yourself saying, "I can't do this," and replace it with, "I'm learning to handle this." That moment is power. It may seem small, but small shifts repeated daily create massive transformation. Part 7. Your words carry authority. One of the most powerful principles emphasized by Kenneth E. Hagin is this: your words carry authority. Not someday, not later, right now. When you speak, you are directing your mind. You are influencing your emotions. You are shaping your expectation. So the question is, are your words working for you or against you? Part 8. The hidden habit of negative identity. Many people don't just speak negatively. They identify negatively. They say, "I'm a stressed person. I'm an anxious person. I'm a sick person." And over time, that becomes their identity. But listen carefully. What you identify with, you empower. If you identify with struggle, you normalize it. If you identify with healing, you move toward it. Part 9. Detach from the problem. You are not your condition. You are not your struggle. You are not your past. Instead of saying, "I'm depressed," say, "I'm experiencing a season, but I'm coming out of it." That shift separates who you are from what you're going through. And that separation is the beginning of freedom. Part 10. The power of yet. Here's a simple tool that can change everything. Add the word yet. I'm not healed yet. I don't feel strong yet. I haven't overcome this yet. That one word keeps the door open. It keeps hope alive. And hope is essential for healing. Part 11. Emotional discipline. You won't always feel like speaking positively. There will be days when everything in you wants to say, "I give up." But discipline means you speak truth, even when emotion disagrees. Because if you only speak based on feelings, you will stay stuck in cycles. Part 12. Rewiring your mind. Every time you choose better words, you are rewiring your brain. You are creating new neural pathways. You are teaching your system, "This is the new direction." And over time, What once felt unnatural becomes automatic. Part 13. The Power of Daily Declarations. Let's build a powerful habit. Every morning, declare, I am moving toward healing. I am stronger than yesterday. My body and mind are aligning with restoration. I am not stuck. I am progressing. Say it out loud. Feel it. Believe it, even if it's small. Because repetition builds belief. Part 14. Guarding your environment. Your words matter, but so do the words you listen to. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, complaints, doubt, fear, it will influence you. So protect your environment. Limit what drains you. Increase what strengthens you. Part 15. The Danger of Comparison. Another hidden blocker is comparison. When you say, they're healing faster than me, why am I still struggling? You create frustration. And frustration weakens faith. Your journey is yours. Focus on progress, not comparison. Part 16. Speak to your future. Don't just describe your present. Speak to your future. Say, I am becoming stronger. I am stepping into a new level of peace. I am moving into a healthier version of myself. Because your future responds to what you consistently declare. Part 17. The Turning Point. There will come a moment when you realize, I've been speaking against myself, and that moment is not for guilt. It's for awakening. Because awareness gives you the power to change. Part 18. Consistency over perfection. You won't get it right every time. You will slip. You will say things you shouldn't. But don't quit. Correct it. Realign. Keep going. Consistency matters more than perfection. Part 19. Your new language. From today forward, let this be your language. I am improving. I am learning. I am growing. I am healing. I am not stuck. Even if it's slow, it's still progress. Listen carefully, because this might be the one thing standing between you and the life you've been trying to create. You keep saying, I'm broken. I'll never heal. This is just who I am. Stop. Right there. Every time you say those words, you are not just describing your reality. You are reinforcing it. Your brain is always listening. Your body is always responding. And your future is being shaped by the words you repeat the most. When you say, I'm anxious, your body follows. When you say, I'm tired, your energy drops. When you say, I can't change, your mind shuts down. You don't just have thoughts. Your thoughts have you. And here's the truth most people never realize. Healing doesn't begin in your body. It begins in your language. What you say becomes what you believe. What you believe becomes how you feel. And how you feel becomes your reality. So if you keep saying the same negative story, you keep living the same painful life. Now imagine this. Instead of saying, I'm broken, you say, I'm healing. Instead of saying, I'll never change, you say, I'm becoming better every day. Instead of saying, this is who I am, you say, this is who I used to be. Feel the difference. That's not just motivation, that's transformation. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's repeated. So if you repeat a new story long enough, it becomes your truth. Healing is not about waiting. It's not about hoping. It's about retraining. Retraining your thoughts. Retraining your words. Retraining your identity. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your old story. You are what you choose to become, starting now. So today, make a decision. No more saying things that weaken you. No more repeating stories that keep you stuck. No more speaking from pain. Start speaking from possibility. Because the moment you change your words, you begin to change your life. And your healing, it's been waiting on that decision. The words you whisper to yourself in private are shaping the life you live in public. And the most dangerous words, they sound harmless. I'll try. Maybe someday. I guess this is enough. No, those words are not neutral. They are limiting. They keep you small. They keep you stuck. They keep you exactly where you are. Because I'll try creates hesitation. Maybe someday creates delay. This is enough creates complacency. Healing does not respond to hesitation. Healing responds to certainty. You cannot step into a new life while speaking the language of your old one. Read that again in your mind. Every time you say, "This always happens to me," you train your brain to expect it again. Every time you say, "I'm not ready," you convince your body to stay in fear. Every time you say, "I don't deserve better," you block every opportunity trying to reach you. This is not just mindset. This is conditioning. But here's the shift. What if you stopped negotiating with your pain and started commanding your future? Instead of "I'll try," say, "I will." Instead of "maybe someday," say, "now." Instead of "I hope things change," say, "I am changing things." Feel that power? That's the energy healing responds to. Because your mind follows direction. Your body follows belief. And your life follows identity. You don't become better by wishing. You become better by deciding. So today, right now, draw a line. No more weak language. No more passive thinking. No more repeating cycles that drain your energy. Start speaking like the person you want to become. Confident, clear, certain. Because the version of you that is healed doesn't say, "I'll try." They say, "I'm already on my way." And once you speak like that, you don't just feel different. You become different. There's a sentence you keep repeating, and it's quietly destroying your progress. "I've always been like this." That sentence right there is a prison. Because the moment you say, "I've always been like this," you shut the door on who you could become. You turn your past into your identity. You turn your pain into your personality. And you turn temporary struggles into permanent limits. But listen, just because something has been true doesn't mean it has to stay true. You were not born anxious. You were not born insecure. You were not born believing you're not enough. You learned those things. And anything learned can be unlearned. But not if you keep repeating the same story. Because your brain is like a recording device. It plays what you tell it over and over again. So if the message is, "I've always been like this," then guess what? You'll always stay like that. Not because you can't change, but because you've decided not to. Now here's the shift. Instead of saying, "I've always been like this," say, "I'm done being like this." Feel the difference. One keeps you stuck in the past. The other pulls you into the future. One is an excuse. The other is a decision. And healing begins the moment you decide that your past does not get to vote on your future anymore. You are allowed to outgrow your old self. You are allowed to change your patterns. You are allowed to become someone new. But you have to stop announcing your limitations as if they are facts. They're not facts. They're habits. And habits can be broken. So today, make this your rule. Don't speak from who you were. Speak from who you're becoming. Don't describe your wounds. Declare your healing. Don't repeat your past. Rewrite your identity. Because the life you want is not waiting for more time. It's waiting for a new story. And that story begins the moment you stop saying the words that are holding you back. Think about the words you use today. Not the ones you said out loud to others, but the ones you whispered to yourself. The quiet statements, the repeated thoughts, the automatic responses when something didn't go your way. Because hidden in those words is the blueprint of your healing, or the barrier that's stopping it. Most people are not aware that their greatest obstacle is not external. It's internal language. And today, you're going to see clearly what needs to stop and what must begin. Part 1. The silent habit that shapes your life. You don't wake up one day and decide to block your healing. It happens gradually, through repetition, through small, unnoticed phrases like, "I'm just tired of everything. Nothing is changing. This always happens to me. I knew it wouldn't work." At first, they seem harmless. But over time, they become a mental environment. And that environment either supports healing or suffocates it. Part 2. Words create emotional atmosphere. Your words don't just affect your thoughts. They affect your emotions. Say this out loud. I'm overwhelmed. Notice what happens. Your body tightens. Your breathing changes. Your energy drops. Now say, I'm working through this. Same situation. Different emotional response. That's the power of language. It doesn't just describe your state. It creates it. Part 3. The cycle of reinforcement. Here's how the cycle works. You feel something. You speak it. Your brain hears it. Your body responds. And then you feel it even more. So if you say, I feel weak, your body aligns with weakness. Then you feel weaker. Then you say it again. And the cycle continues. But the same process works in reverse. Part 4. Interrupting the loop. The moment you say, I feel weak, but I'm getting stronger, you interrupt the loop. You shift direction. You give your system a new instruction. And over time, that new instruction becomes your default. Part 5. The weight of repeated words. One negative statement may not seem powerful, but repeated daily, it becomes identity. If every day you say, I'm unlucky, eventually you stop questioning it. You accept it. And once something becomes identity, it controls your expectations. Part 6. Expectations determines experience. You don't just experience life. You experience what you expect. If you expect failure, you interpret everything through that lens. If you expect healing, you begin to notice progress, even small progress, and that fuels momentum. Part 7. The danger of absolute language. Be careful with words like always, never, forever. When you say, I'll never get better, you've closed the door. When you say, this always happens, you reinforce the cycle. Instead, use flexible language. This is challenging, but temporary. That keeps possibility alive. Part 8. The internal conversation. Even when you're silent, you're speaking internally. And that internal conversation matters just as much. If your inner voice is constantly saying, you're not good enough, you'll never change, then healing becomes difficult because your mind is working against you. Part 9. Becoming aware. The first step is awareness. Start noticing what you say when things go wrong, what you repeat when you're stressed. What is your default response to difficulty? Don't judge it. Just observe it. Because you can't change what you don't recognize. Part 10. Rewriting the script. Once you're aware, you can rewrite. Instead of, I can't handle this, say, I'm learning how to handle this. Instead of, this is too much, say, I'm growing through this. These are not just positive phrases. They are directional statements. Part 11. The role of faith-based language. In the teachings of Kenneth E. Hagin, faith is not passive. It speaks. It declares. It aligns words with belief, even before results appear. So when you say, I am healing, you are not denying reality. You are declaring direction. Part 12. Time versus agreement. Many people think healing is just about time, but time alone doesn't change everything. Agreement does. If you spend years agreeing with limitation, time won't fix that. But the moment you change your agreement, everything begins to shift. Part 13. The energy of words. Words carry emotional energy. Negative words drain you. Positive, intentional words build you. That's why after complaining, you feel worse. But after speaking hope, you feel lighter. It's not coincidence. It's alignment. Part 14. Speak even when it feels false. At first, speaking positively may feel fake. That's normal, because you're used to a different pattern. But don't stop, because repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity builds belief. Part 15. Building a new identity. Start seeing yourself differently. not as someone stuck, but as someone evolving, not as someone broken, but as someone rebuilding. Identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. Part 16, the importance of consistency. You don't need perfect words. You need consistent ones. Daily, repeated, intentional. Because transformation is not a single moment. It's a repeated decision. Part 17, protecting your progress. As you begin to change your language, protect it. Don't let others pull you back into negativity. Stay committed to your new pattern, even if others don't understand. Part 18, celebrating small shifts. Don't wait for big results to feel encouraged. Celebrate small shifts. Thinking differently, speaking more intentionally, catching negative patterns. These are signs of progress. Part 19, the power of persistence. There will be days when nothing seems to change. Keep going, because beneath the surface, your mind is rewiring. Your beliefs are shifting. Your foundation is strengthening. Part 20, final declaration. From this moment forward, make a decision to stop saying what blocks you, to stop agreeing with limitation, to stop reinforcing pain with your words, and instead, speak life, speak healing, speak possibility. Closing, deep, powerful, memorable. Because one day, your reality will reflect your language. And when that day comes, you'll realize something powerful. Healing didn't begin when everything changed. It began the moment you changed what you said.